Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be covering another What's It Worth, and it's been a while since we've done one, but now with the Loomian Legacy Halloween Forsaken collab, we have a bunch of new things to cover, and that being sitting right behind me is going to be none other than the Gleaming Halloween White Duskit. Now this bad boy was actually not caught by yours truly, and not by the person who lent it to me, but major shout outs to Shadow V for actually lending this to me. They actually traded for this, so just for reference, that's how that is. But obviously this is not going to be the only color, and I'll get to all those in two different videos because all of them have roughly about the same GR range, but obviously some of them have better demand, some of them might have a little bit higher GR range, just depending on the community's preference. But before we get into any of the main information, I want you guys to keep everything with a grain of salt, as all this information is still subject to change, especially with the values, as all this is way too early, and by this point it's about almost day 3 to day 4 of the event being out, so just keep everything in mind. But with this being said, this is going to be a 1 in 32,000 chance to find in the wild, granted that you can actually use the realm boost to actually find this. However, this is not going to be times 2 gleam boost, so just keep that in mind. Additionally, as far as GR, we can see this being at the lowest being around almost 35 GR to around the highest being about 50 GR max, although some people will try to overpay, but that's more commonly seen with other colors. With this being said, now let's get straight into the trading process. Alright, let's go in the chat, let's type in looking for offers on white Gleaming Halloween Duskit, and boom, and now let's wait for offers. Alright, and our first trade request is coming from Not Anti-Noob, so let's see what Anti has shared with us today. So we start off with the Gleam Sapphire Guard Drone Pure Smart, and it does seem like this is going to be Anti's final trade, so we're just going to quickly ask and we're going to confirm and come back to that. Before having to ask, Anti did just say I have 2 offers, while also throwing in a Gamma Dakuda Pure Nimble, a Gamma Mummy Bun Puff Pure Nimble, a Gamma Ferroglyph Pure Nimble, and it's also going to be Temper, and it does seem like this is going to be the second offer. Obviously, without having to ask, this is their final offer, so we actually are going to be working with 2. So with this being said, let's start off with the Guard Drone since that one was first. Is that trade worth it? This trade is going to have to be a major thumbs up. As you know, this trade is going to be a personal W. I would definitely do this, but let's get to the next trade. We obviously have the Dakuda, Ferroglyph, and the Bun Puff. Is that trade worth it? Now, currently this is going to be from the future. This is me 3 days later from this recording. Mind you, Gamma Bun Puff is about maybe 8 to 12 GR. So with this information in mind, I can now confidently say this because I wasn't able to, that this trade is going to be a thumbs down. Do keep in mind that the Gamma Dakuda alone is going to be around 18 GR. The Gamma Pharaoh maybe about 10 GR at the very best. And then we have the Gamma Bun Puff 8 to 12 range. Not going to really get us there, but it isn't the worst trade you can take. But then again, it is not the best trade you can take. So personally speaking, this is going to have to push towards a thumbs down. And with that being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and our next trade request is coming from Draga Brolo. So let's see what Draga has shared with us today. All right, so we start off with a white Xmas Protagon Pure Nimble, and it does seem like this may be Drago's final trade, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, so I did just talk with Drago, and we've been going back and forth, and they were just asking, is this enough? So I'm just gonna take that as this is their final trade. So with this being said, we do add in a Santa Duskit being Brawny Tender, and honestly, with that being said, is this trade worth it? I think we pretty much know this trade has got to be a major thumbs down. Do keep in mind, we're not even pushing 1 GR. There I need to further explain into this. That being said, let's get straight into the next trade. All right, and the next trade request is coming from Cooper K2316. So let's see what Cooper has shared with us today. So we start off with a Super Wobelisk Dual Nimble, a Metronet Frail Nimble, a Plush Kit Pure Nimble, our Gargolem Dual Clever, a Gamma Halloween Kabunga Pure Nimble, a White Duskit, a White Halloween Duskit Dual Clever, and a Gamma Totemochi Pure Nimble. And it does seem like this may be Cooper's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, so I've been talking with Cooper, and Cooper did just say okay question mark, while also moving everything aside. So they're only offering the Halloween Duskit and the Gamma Totemochi. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is going to be an obvious thumbs down. Do keep in mind, we're just offering the normal version of this plus a normal Gamma you can find in the wild during this event. So yeah, that's going to be a major thumbs down. Not really a lot to explain on this one. So yeah, let's get into that next trade, and hopefully everything else will be better there. All right, and the next trade request is coming from Cloudly. So let's see what Cloudly has to share with us today. So we start off with the Gamma Anniversary Sea Drake Pure Nimble, a Gleam Xmas Metronet Pure Smart, a Gleam Dakuda Pure Nimble, a Gamma Crowd Cup Pure Nimble, Rainbow Glaciadia Pure Nimble, a Rainbow Arceus Robust Sluggish, Rainbow Obsidian, which is going to be Sharp Edges captured in the wild Pure Nimble, a Gleam Bun Puff, which is going to be the Mummy version, a Gleam Mummy Bun Puff Pure Nimble, a Gamma Leo Puff Pure Nimble, a Gleaming Halloween Kapoink Pure Nimble, a Gleam Lumberjack Pure Nimble Ursul, and it does seem like this may be Cloudly's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, and I did just confirm with Cloudly, who did just say yes. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is going to lead more towards an L, as do keep in mind that a lot of this GR is going to have bad demand overall, including, I mean, even if we throw in this GSA, unless it's really PvP or something, we can't really do much here. I know with the whole idea that everything looks nice, but you have to keep in mind a lot of the stuff like demand is a big play. For instance, when we look at the Rainbow Arceuses and Glaciadias, they're only about 0.5 at the very best with bad demand. Stuff like the Gleam Xmas Metronet can be about almost 7 to 8 GR with bad to decent demand. Gleam Dakuda is solid, I'll say that right now. Gamma Crowd Cup is kind of hit or miss, and a lot of this other stuff can be decent, but it's not really the greatest you would would work with as ads. And personally, if this was a Radiant Sea Drake, this would be way too much of an overpay to take, and that would be brainless for me to say no. But as you can see, it's currently not a Radiant. So with that being said, this is gonna have to be a major thumbs down. With this being said, let's get into our next and final trade. All right, and our next and final trade is coming from Galmer Toes 2. So let's see what Galmer has to share with us today. So we start off with a Twiddle Hyper Foolish, a Grubby Dull Brawny, a Kleptyke Foolish Nimble, a Feevine Tender Clever, a Gravestone Frail Foolish Very Nimble, a Caillou Very Dull Brawny Nimble, Spearwix Indifferent, a Spearwix Indifferent, and yeah, I mean, Galmer did just say trust the best trade ever. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? Yeah, do I even really need to go into this? It's not even close to 1 GR, 1 Gleam. So yeah, I don't really have to go too much into this. Once again, another thumbs down. Really unfortunate though. And yeah, with that being said, let's wrap this trade up. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord server. I know it was pretty awkward because I mean, there's been a lot of new players that are joining Loomian Legacy, and a lot of these inactive players that are actually coming back. A lot of them don't really know what's going on. I mean, I've been in resort for at least 30 minutes trying to find at least one offer, and mind you, it is 3:40 p.m. Understandably, if it's AM, but PM is a different story. So I'm so sorry about that. While you're at it, go join Reliable Values, as I would highly recommend if you guys need any sort of guide or help with values. A lot of that time you'll see stuff like that. And actually, speaking of which, I'm going to be hosting a giveaway regarding Reliable Values and yours truly. So if we hit 8.25k subs, which we're about almost less than 40 subs away, and if Reliable Values hits 1,000 members, which is currently at about a little over 900 members, I'll be giving away 1,000 Robux. And additionally to this, we're giving about almost 7 GR, 7 GR. And no, I don't want to hear any comments about, oh, he said it, oh, he said it. Anywho, while you guys are also at it, make sure to go cop some of my merch and go check out my TikTok, because yes, Ong does post on there and it's pretty decent so far. So thank you guys so much for the support on both YouTube and TikTok. But with this being said, remember, pineapples are vegetables. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, peace.